Okay, let's take some time and look at the NPV, or net present value. So from the get-go, please recognize I'm going to offer an overly simplified, arguably watered-down definition of NPV. Why? In real life, NPV can get very muddied, it can get very murky, so the goal here is just to boil it down into its purest essence. So before we get too immersed in NPV, it makes more sense if we ask, why do we want to use it in the first place? On a very fundamental level, with NPV, we want to know if we invest money that generates income over a given time frame at an expected rate of return, is it even worth it? The way we figure that out is we have to calculate the present value for the future value of all our cash flows using our expected rate of return. Put another way, we have to look at our expected total return in today's money to see if it's even worth it in the first place. Really what we're doing is we're going to convert future money into present day money for comparison purposes. And when it's all said and done, if the NPV is greater than 0, it might be worth doing it. Let's see an example to clarify this. Let's say we have $10,000 to invest. We can dedicate 5 years to it. And with this investment, we are expecting to get $3,500 a year in income at a discount rate of 10%. So the question is it even worth our while in the first place? This is where Excel's NPV function will come into play, because what it will do is figure out the present values for our time frame, add those numbers up, and tell us what this investment will be worth in 5 years. Let's get a little more granular here. When we ask Excel to calculate the NPV, it will look at our projected income for each year. It will then calculate the present value for those individual years, add them up, and then give us the total of all those present values. Put another way, it will figure out the present value for year 1, it will figure out the present value for year 2, it will figure out the present value for year 3, etc., add up all those results, and show them to us. So the net in net present value means the total of all the present values you asked Excel to calculate. In this case, it will be 5. Ugh, good grief, that's a headache in a suitcase. Let's get this done. So to calculate the NPV, let's go up and click the FX icon. Do a search for NPV. Where it says rate, we'll click on our discount rate. And where it says value 1, we'll select our estimated cash flows for those years. Click OK. And it looks like we get a result of roughly $13,000. So what Excel is telling us, based off all the numbers that we provided, is that the investment is worth $13,000 in today's money. But we're not done yet because we have not calculated the official NPV. To do that, we have to subtract out the initial investment of $10,000. So we'll do that. And it looks like the official NPV is roughly $3,000. So the whole point of calculating our NPV is to determine if the investment is even worth it in the first place. And the way we do that is to translate all of our future cash flows into today's equivalent. And once all of our calculations are done, the biggest question is the NPV greater than 0? If the NPV is greater than 0, it might be worth investing. If the NPV is less than 0, it's a bad investment and you don't want to do it. And mercifully, that will wrap up the NPV, and we'll see you in the next one.